Welcome back, everyone. So, as you can tell by my puffy face, I just had a bit of a sleep. I'm actually day 3 into the 600-mile trip between Tangier and Lanzarote. Up till now, I just kind of was getting into the rhythm of the passage. The biggest passage I've done solo, and I wanted to spend the time getting myself straight, and I'm feeling pretty good now. So just to give you an idea, I've got, you probably can't see it on the video, I have about 3 meter waves, roughly. It's a little rolly because I'm kind of going across them a bit, just to try and line myself up with the Canaries a bit better. But yeah, my panel flipped up there earlier, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's been a really good sail so far. This is the biggest waves so far. It's actually the biggest waves I've been in this boat. And the biggest waves I've been in for probably 4 or 5 years. They're massive, and they feel pretty good, to be fair. You can never see on camera how big these are. It's always funny, you tell people they're huge and then you look on video and you're like, hang on. As you can see, the wind vane is working. The wind vane has steered every mile so far. I've done two full 24-hour days of 130 miles each. Plus the last 4 hours, so probably going to be closing in on 300 miles soon, which is pretty awesome. Wind speed is probably 25 knots at the moment. It's varied from 15 up to 30. Last night was pretty rough. I had both head sails pulled out last night. I'll show you the head sails now, and I had to take one down at 4 o'clock in the morning because it was so. We were actually surfing at 12.5 knots. I know that's not sustained, but it could just give you an idea of how overpowered we were. But trying to keep everything tidy in the cockpit, doing the best I can to stay on top of things. Yeah, so you see the wind vane. We'll get some shots of the wind vane and the sails now, and let the boat do the talking. So you can see there, I've got one head sail pulled out at the moment with about, say, a little less than half, or a little more than half the Genoa. It's very rolly today, but that's okay. I'm not 100% sure how to stop the rolling. I don't think you can. It's not that bad. It's kind of manageable once I'm not trying to do stuff, but it'd be interesting to know if anyone's got any tips. Yesterday I had the second pole, you can see it just on the deck there, to the right of the mast. I had that down as well, or up as well, with the staysail, which is on the deck. And we had a wing and wing, which is really nice. It's a really nice kind of slightly lower wind speed, downwind setup. You can't really see on the camera, but at the end of the pole I've got a fairly heavy block. So instead of running the sheet through the eye of the pole at the end, I've got the block attached to the piston end, and I'm running it through a block. It actually is a way easier system to, instead of trying to fight the friction in the ring, you're just using the block. So my mate Jan taught me that, and it's going really well. Thanks, Jan. I also have, see, there's like 3 ropes coming off the pole. One is the sheet holding the Genoa that goes back to the back there around and onto the winch, and then in case I want to use the Genoa like relatively quick without playing around with the pole, I can pop the piston end, and then the bottom sheet there that's kind of hanging loosely, I can use that to try to sheet the sail as normal. So very rolly, holding on, and then I've got the other rope at the front of that holding the pole from swinging too far back. At the moment it's not having to do much, but yeah. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what I'm seeing. The wind vane is amazing. It's like I had to rebuild it recently, and it's since then it's been perfect. I'm super happy with it. Like, I haven't touched the helm. I actually don't think I could helm in this. It's like not as well as this for sure. No way. Like, I can imagine trying to stand behind that wheel for more than an hour. It'd be exhausting. Just with the rolling and trying to keep her on a track, and I couldn't imagine having to do this by hand. So the wind vane I think it's one of the best bits of kit you can put on a boat, honestly. I mean, I know autopilots are very good too, but they're noisy, they use a lot of power, and I don't think they steer as well as this. No way. Mine doesn't anyway. Yeah, so I'm going to get some more sleep, I think. I've got actually getting quite a lot of sleep, to be fair, but you can never have too much, so I think I'll go and have another nap and get ready for the night watch, which is usually just coming up and look at it. See if I can see any lights every 30 minutes. Yeah, cool. Funnily enough, just after me saying that the wind vane would be a big loss, you can see the on the top there the Jubilee clip is broken, and the wheel drum has basically pulled itself off the wheel. It's still turning. I actually think it could have happened yesterday, because I remember these lines got super loose all of a sudden and I was getting confused. I can think my camera isn't a bit broken. So yeah, I need to do something about that, I think. Okay, well, we're back in action. That took a surprising amount of time to fix. Just trying to be so hard not to lose anything. I had to basically completely disassemble the wheel drum. I took the wheel off and let the autopilot steer for a while. It did pretty good, actually, after me complaining about it earlier. I took the wheel drum off and I replaced the Jubilee clip there and reefed my finger in the process. But that'll be fine. So we're back on the wind vane. There's so much difference between the wind vane and the autopilot. I just trust this thing so much. Like, whenever we are rolling and all that kind of stuff, the wind vane just seems to have much better control. The boat feels so much just better with the wind vane on. Maybe that's my imagination, I don't know, but we're back in action, thank God. I couldn't have done without this thing. Till the next problem, I guess. Another thing I forgot to mention as well, mainly for wind vane users, is you can see I have my control lines. It's going up through a block at the back. So I don't know if you can see that. It's going up through a block and onto the wind vane, and I can control the wind vane from the companion way, which is really handy if it's raining or if you don't want to go out into the cockpit. So I have a full view from standing in the middle of the companionway. I have a full view all around, and I can adjust my course without going into the cockpit, which is really nice. Like, especially last night when I had a lot of waves coming into the cockpit, like at the back here. There was like kind of a good bit of water in the cockpit. So yeah, it's a nice trick for somebody with wind vanes. So you're joining me on day 4, Saturday. I left Wednesday, so it's the 4th day I've been out, but it's after 3 nights. So the sea is still very confused. I wasn't expecting it. I was kind of expecting by the time I got this far west, I'm like nearly 9 degrees west, that things would be a little bit more smooth, but it's kind of been a swell kind of crossing over itself, and my camera's a bit broken, so There's a swell coming from the north and a swell coming from the northeast, or the east, kind of more easterly actually, and it's crossing over the two and making it very uncomfortable. So last night I had a couple of breakages. The cooker jumped off its gimbals. Well, actually the gimbals just pulled clear out of the woodwork, so I have to just screw those back in. I was waiting for it to calm down a bit before I tried that, because it was a lot worse this morning. Then these I'll have to show you later, but there's two blocks that control. You can see them there at the very back corner on the control lines. I was using Witchard blocks, which I thought were high quality because they're very expensive, way more expensive than the blocks I've got on there at the moment. And they both just completely fell to pieces. So, like, don't buy Witchard ever. It's so expensive and it's not good quality stuff. So yeah, I changed that and I moved the chafe point on the blocks as well, and just played around with the wind vane. So the wind vane hasn't needed much; it's needed a couple of little repairs. But that's mainly just me setting it up wrong. So you can see there's a good bit of chaos down here, mainly just because it's very hard to do much at the moment. It's kind of just stuff thrown in the back there. But I've taken the cooker off. I also had a big 1 kg bag of sugar get loose and just cause absolute eruptions everywhere. So they'll probably be finding sugar for the next 10 years. Yeah, so I'm just taking the cooker off its gimbals and I'm gonna re-screw them in and just make sure that they're a bit better fitted. The guy who fitted them is a bit of an agent, so being me. So I haven't done much with the sails. I actually just took a reef out of the Genoa. It was quite a lot smaller overnight though. We had about 25 to 30 knots of true wind. So yeah, I've just reefed that down. I must take my Morocco flag down as well, I keep forgetting. So I have that poled out, and as you saw in the last couple of clips, it's much the same. I think the wind's going to drop off tomorrow, so I'll probably put the staysail up again, but I don't expect a huge amount of change there. Something I've really looked forward to every day, is marking my position on the chart. You can see it just there, 2 little X's. Really enjoying doing that. It's just like a nice process to take my position off the GPS and just mark it down on the chart. Just means when I've finished sailing, I can have all of my sailing on one chart, mainly for this year anyway, or the last couple of years, and I'll have the Atlantic crossing on it as well, so it all folds up and you can do all the way over to America. So this will be a nice little keepsake, but it's also good practice to keep on the chart stuff. Even if I'm not using a sextant, at least I'll know where I was if something happened. So all my GPSs at the same time, which is unlikely. There's my chart plotter that I'm just keeping an eye on. Going pretty good. You can see my average speed 5.5 and my max speed, which was 12.6. Now that's surfing, like when the waves push you along. That isn't consistent speed, but still, when it happens, it's pretty wild because everything just sounds completely insane, and the boat just surges forward. It doesn't feel natural. So yeah, that's my stats from the last. This was nearly 2 days. I lost the first day because Navionics crashed, but we won't talk about that. So you can see the last section for me is 200 miles. At this pace, it'll be like 34 hours probably at the current pace. So that'll bring me in like very early Monday morning. I'm hoping it'll be bright by the time I arrive, or at least dawn, so I can anchor in the light. And yeah, I'd much rather arrive during the day. So I might even let the boat slow down when the wind drops off a bit and try and get the average speed down a bit. But yeah, you can see my bed, the lee board, and all of the chaos around. Drill just hanging out there on the floor. Sink is absolutely full because every time I try and do the washing up, you can see the kettle is just kind of stuffed in the corner by, I don't know. There's water everywhere. Oh no. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to work. So I'm coming up on the final day. Well, this is the final full day. I'll probably get to Lanzarote probably, I'd say 4 a.m, maybe 5 a.m. I'm trying to slow it down so that I get there at sunrise, but I don't think it's going to happen. There's a big swell running, and I'll show you. Whoa, over we go. So there's still a decent sized swell, and there's like 25 knots of wind, between 20 and 25 knots of true wind. So unless I really reef down, and if I reef down too far, the boat gets very uncomfortable. So we'll just arrive in the dark. It's not that big a deal. Nothing's happened, honestly. It's been a very easy passage so far. I mean, I've still got 80 miles to go. The wind vane has been incredible. It hasn't missed a beat the whole way. Obviously, apart from changing a few small bits on the control lines, but like that's to be expected. It's rope. It's going to chafe, especially if you don't have it set up right. So moving the control line, so the course correction lines into the cockpit I'm really happy with that. That worked super well. You know, if I was in bed or anything like that and I wanted to change course, just give it a quick tweak. So that's awesome, especially if ships are there and you want to tweak around those. But yeah. It is always very funny though that you just can't see how big the swell is. It's not that big. It's actually like 1 to 1.2 meters, I think. Some of them are up nearly 2. Once they kind of meet in the middle a bit, you get a 2 meter wave. But for the most part, there's a big one over there. That's about 2 meters. Yeah. Aside from that, I've just been I've only really had to dodge one ship who wasn't. I don't think he was on watch. I had to ring him on the radio and ask him if he could see me, which was always fun. There's a ship over there at the moment. You can see it there. Jesus, there it is. But he's like 2 miles away, so that's not too bad. So yeah, you can see the wind vane there is doing its job. See the wheel is moving. I haven't had to touch the helm at all, which is awesome. Yeah, so far we've been very lucky. Sorry for the bad audio in this clip. I lost the microphone again. It's just buried somewhere. I'm just approaching Lanzarote. I anchored in La Graciosa for a couple of days and arrived in the dark, pitch dark. So I didn't have anything to film, and then I just slept for a couple of days. And then left. So the plan now is get around the corner here to the south side of Lanzarote to Rubicon. Any Golden Globe race fans will know that that's where the guys went through last couple of weeks ago. So it's a pretty good place to hang out. So I'm going to put the boat there for like 4 weeks and go home, get married, and then we're going to come back and go to Cape Verde, whatever you call it, and then on to the Caribbean. So lots of sailing to be done before January. You probably can't see it all that well, but you can see here that it's anchored up here in La Graciosa, and now I'm heading down to Rubicon, down at the bottom here of Lanzarote, and that's where the boat will stay for about a month. Loads of work to do, so yeah, there'll be a bit of boat work videos again, maybe 1 or 2. Yeah, so I'll keep going and talk to you when I arrive. So I'm just arriving up to Rubicon. It's over there a bit, so I'm not close haul because I've only got the Genoa up. And putting the main up for 10 minutes isn't really worth doing, so I'm gonna take the Genoa in soon and motor into the boatyard, or into the anchorage, and wait for my haul out, which is going to be tomorrow, I think. So yeah, guess that's where I leave this episode. I might get a bit of video of the boat coming out of the water. But then there'll be like, I've gone home for a month, and then there'll be a couple of videos of boatyard work. So, and then transatlantic. So it's all happening. It's all going to be very exciting. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me, and leave a comment and all that stuff. Let me know how you're getting on, and see you then. Bye.